Ciao ragazzi, welcome along to another episode of Juve Talk, Juve Power Talk, and with me today is Antonio. We've got another guest coming soon enough, we'll see, and we're going to go through all the day's news, all the week's news, European Championships, news on Transfer Mercado, everything. So with that, I want to see, how are you getting on, Antonio? It's nice to see you, buddy.
You too, very well. Thanks for having me back on.
Excellent. Ciao Don Maggi, he's in the chat. Akis is in the chat as well. Nice to see you guys. And so how do you feel the Mercado is going for Juventus so far? Are you sick of it? Are you excited for players coming? Are you thinking, oh, I can't wait for it to be over? Are you one of these people who loves the transfer market, or what? How do you feel about it in general?
So far, it's been it's just a carbon copy of last year. The 2 years ago with Delict, with Locatelli. I think it's taken way too long to get the deal over the line, but that's just my personal opinion. I understand there's a lot of numbers involved and players going both ways, as I say, but the Mercado's not really started, so I think they'll do okay. I think Cherubini's making the right moves. Positive moves. I like what he's been saying. I like what I'm seeing. I love Max Allegri's new role. If it is going to be the Alex Ferguson style role within the club, so yeah, I'm quite interested to see what we do.
We got a bit of a clue today. This was in Tutto Sport and Gazzetta as well, but it was reported very widely. People are talking about the shape that he's going to go with. So I'm just going to bring it up on screen there. People are already talking about a 4-2-3-1. I don't know what the kind of basis for this is. And just to give credit then as well. So this is from Instagram. This is Juventus Graphics. So very, very good. Check them out on Instagram. Just to zoom in. So yeah, Rabiot, Locatelli, Dybala in a 10 role, 4-2-3-1. Chiesa is on the left on this one, Cuadrado on the right, and Ronaldo up front. I don't know how realistic this is. Don't know what you think, but it's for me, I don't know if Ronaldo is going to be still there.
Yeah.
I don't really like Chiesa on the left.
Yeah.
Cuadrado, I think he's probably still going to play right back as well. And there's kind of no sign of Kulusevski in this lineup either. But I don't know. I guess people have to talk about something. What do you think?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. As I say, people have fun doing these formations and playing FIFA and doing all these different teams, as I say. But we need to wait to see what personnel's brought in, who's obviously who moves out, as I say. Myself personally, I do like that style of formation. I like the 4-2-3-1, as I say. But Ronaldo as a lone striker, I get frustrated with people that say that Ronaldo can't play as an out-and-out number 9. If you've watched all the Portugal games up until now, he plays number 9, as I say. Now, that could be because Portugal don't have another striker and they don't play every single week because of the national side, as I say. But Ronaldo can play a number 9 role. So if he does happen to stay, which I don't think he will, I think he's more or less on his way out. But if it does happen to stay, it would be interesting to see just what he can do as a number 9 and leave the flanks to the likes of Chiesa, Cuadrado, Kulusevski, and be on the receiving end of some good service.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he does it for Portugal. Why can't he do it for Juve? Maybe it's people have kind of said maybe it's the players either side of him. But look, we've got Chiesa, we've got Kulusevski, we've got I think we have the players. I'm just going to welcome Paolo, my Freddie Moore. He's just coming from work. He's still in work. How are you getting on, buddy?
I'm doing good. Just a little bit busy, as you see. Just in time sorry for being late. 10 minutes was kind of predictable. Thank you for having me here. Hi, Antonio.
Ciao Paolo, come va? Tutto bene?
Tutto bene, tu?
Sto bene, sto bene. Ti vedo a lavorare, bello.
Thanks God.
Grande, grande, grande.
So yeah, it's just 5 o'clock where you are, so I'm very grateful for you to make some time for us. So yeah, we were just going through. I'll share it for you there again. We were just going through. This is kind of in the news today. It was on Gazzetta. It was on Tudo Sport as well. They were talking about a potential lineup for Juventus under Allegri, that they might go for a 4-2-3-1. I mean, what do you think about that shape? We were just kind of saying we think it's a bit, people need to talk about something, I guess. But
But that is true. That is true. We need to find something to talk about. I mean, this option looks a little bit 4-4-2 rather than 4-2-3-1, because I can see with Allegri, Chiesa, and Quadrado be a little bit far and inside in the midfield to the 4-4-2, which, as you know better, when it's about to protection the defense, and I can see Allegri be concerned about that, especially after the last our 2 seasons with the defense was not that great. It could be as an option. It's, in my opinion, is really, I mean, and we discussed so many times with friends around online, on social media. It's still kind of difficult to figure out what is in Allegri's mind, because we don't know what actually would be the players that would be part in the next season. So everything can change just with a couple of new players, for example. So it's really tough right now. But it's nice when we can play a little bit and trying to have some imagination. And prediction.
I think his mind is probably in Ischia at the moment. Apparently he's on holidays, so he's chilling out on the back of a boat, probably drinking a beer or a nice wine or something like that, enjoying the food. He's been spotted out and about, seen some photographs online. Yeah, I think that's interesting what you said, because that number 10 can be a support striker, and then your 2 wide players it's just like a 4-4-2 then. Depends how close Dybala plays to whoever it is up front. We were just discussing the idea that Ronaldo, he can't play as a true number 9, and Antonio was saying that, you might have heard, I don't know, he's playing centrally for Portugal, and there doesn't seem to be an issue with it. So why can't he do it for Juve? Why does he have to go out left?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you go through that, but this is a long story, and he always refused to do number 9 in club. He never refused to do in Portugal national, because then he looks like more ready to sacrifice and do something for the team, and which is weird, but it is what it is. That's true. He used the club to, shine and play the way he wants, doing his tricks he likes, and show that what he thinks is the best of him. Okay. But we know with the age is going on, and the older he become, the best for him will be to be actually number 9. So I don't know if Allegri can make the miracle in all this year. I mean, never happened in the clubs, but who knows?
Who knows exactly? And we don't know if he's going to leave or not. I think we've covered. I almost don't want to get onto the subject of whether we think he's going to leave again, because it just comes up every single show. So I'm going to move on. There was,
one thing about that is Dybala in that position will give all his potential, because he can move around, he can play with the ball, he can do his football, let's say. And this is the best position for him. There is no other ways for him to play at his best.
Yeah, at his best, and the way that he wants to play as well. We can try and force him to play a striker's role as well, but it's very hard for him physically, but it's interesting. So, I mean, I was reading the papers today, and apparently we're being linked with a Brazilian striker Kaio Jorge. Have you heard about him?
Vaguely.
Vaguely. Yeah. They're saying 10 million. He's coming to the end of his contract. This is in Tudo, so I don't know.
No.
If
Just forget about it. Just forget about
forget about that. I'm not going to hang my hopes on it. But you never know. They're saying AC Milan are on it. But I mean, this could be like a Juventus Mercato trick kind of a thing. This is the player, and then all of a sudden, Inter and Milan go for the player, and they're like, okay, well, we weren't even looking at him in the first place, kind of a thing. But I mean, he hasn't really impressed. He scored 4 goals last season, 1 assist, playing for Santos. He's a young player. I think he's 21, centre forward, strong, but I don't know. A lot of Brazilian players, when they come out of Brazil, we think automatically, he's going to be the next R9, the next phenomenal, but it doesn't really work out.
The pace in Brazil is completely different right now. I mean, even the football plays in Italy is faster and stronger than what you're playing right now in Brazil. I mean, with all the respect, it just the way the team set up and play football is different compared to what happened in Europe. So you have a lot of potential good players. It's only the problem is that they're able to switch when they move from Brazil, their own place, to Europe, and get the 2-3 step ahead to shine. Not everybody is able to do so. And also keep in mind that if you're talking about strikers, Juve is looking looking for an option, not really a number 9, So also this is important when you need to choose which one high in the next season. So how much you want to spend, put one in the table.
Yeah. Moving on. I was reading a quote about.
I don't know if Antonio will say something because I'm talking maybe too much.
Paolo, don't you worry. We'll get plenty of chance to share some opinions. You carry on, my friend.
I think Antonio heard Tudo Sport, and that was the end of that story for him. I think.
I just wanted to say to Paolo, excuse my thick Scottish accent. In case you can't understand me, as I said, we could do the show in Italian, but I don't think our listeners would appreciate it. So
I like your accent, but actually, so
I hope you understand it, because not everybody understands it.
Yeah, it is peculiar. I need sometimes to get into it, because I'm living US. It's completely different. But
if you get stuck, just ask me, and I'll tell you in Italian what I'm trying to say.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, now that we're talking about centre forwards, were you happy with Morata re-signing for another year, Antonio?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. The numbers it's a good formula. On the pitch, he gives you. Let's not forget, Allegri's best style of football always has a number 9, a physical presence in the box. We've lacked that this year. If Morata hasn't been playing, then we lack that focal figure in the box. Mandzukic had it, Higuain had it, and Morata brings you that as well. So I don't think he's going to be a starter. I don't think he's going to be our first choice. His form at the Euros is leaving a lot to be desired. I don't think he has. I don't think he has that ruthlessness about him, as I say. So he's good as a backup and someone to bring off the bench and give your starting number 9 a break. But yeah, I would say it was a good move.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'd like to see who they're going to bring in also, if he's going to be a backup, just moving on. I as I said, I was reading.
May I ask a question? Can I ask a question, both of you? Do you think it's possible to have Morata in kind of Mandzukic as, not really as a number 9, being in front, but playing on the left, moving a lot, trying to also help a lot in defense, which looks to me something the guy has in his legs?
Colin, you go. Sorry, you carry on. Take this one.
I agree. I think he has the legs. He's shown that he does have a turn of pace, and in particular, he can find, when you look at his runs, the runs that he makes as a centre forward, he kind of goes outside between the fullback and the centre back, and that's the channel that he makes most of his runs, the majority of them. So yeah, I mean, that position is essentially a wide attacking position. So yeah, I think he can do that, no problem.
Yeah, I would agree with both of you. Certainly yourself, Colin. Let's not forget Morata's played there already under Allegri. Not consistently, but he has played that position before. Where he's kind of started his move, where Ronaldo plays almost. When he played at Real Madrid as well, he played that position quite a lot. He's got all the characteristics and all the attributes to play in that position. He's strong, he's fast when he's got the ball, as I say. But I don't think it's going to be a long-term solution. But certainly, if he has to play that in certain instances in the games, he could probably play that position.
Yeah, so you could even see it rotating inside the game. With Ronaldo, I don't even know what to say about Ronaldo now. But so I mean, with Allegri coming back, how optimistic are you guys for next season?
Very.
I'm reading very optimistic.
Yeah, champions again. Easy.
Any further than that in Europe?
Europe's a competition. Europe's a tournament. You need to get past your group stage. Once you get in the last 16, quarter-finals, semi-finals, all the games are won on details. The game comes down to fine details. A yellow card, a VAR decision, a red card. You need luck. Not necessarily the best team wins. Real Madrid tried to win La Decima for years and years, and they spent a lot of money trying to do that. Manchester City spend millions upon millions every year and can't do it. So you need that luck. It doesn't mean if you spend money, you're going to win it. Certainly with Allegri, it brings that European pedigree back to the team, as I say. And I think this time we need to get it right and give him the players that he wants.
Yeah, I'll get onto that then as well. There's more. There's a lot of talk today that Locatelli isn't going to be the only one that Allegri's looking for, and who else could come as well. But I think we're looking for miracles now. Mr. T is coming in before I get to Paolo. He's saying Danilo as a right back will be terrible as he was before Pirlo reinvented him as a hybrid centre back. Cuadrado will probably be playing right back. I think Cuadrado will play right back. I don't know about Danilo. I think Danilo in general has improved all around. What do you think, Paolo?
Well, I mean, it's difficult right now. I don't think Danilo is that bad, especially consider what he did with as a couple with Chiesa, covering the Chiesa back when he was going forward, getting help from Chiesa was about defense. So he's a smart player. Of course, he's not a Cancelo, let's say, or a Cuadrado in terms of right back, but definitely he's smart. He knows either the way to defend, the way to support the team. So I won't be surprised if actually Cuadrado will come back to be the third, as you designed previously, the potential of the new squad next season, as a right attack, even if, with Allegri, maybe he can do the fourth in midfield in defense, then the third in attack when we are attacking. It's kind of tricky. It's difficult right now to say.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we know. I know.
I believe, sorry. I believe Danilo, after the last season, he should, we should be more confident about him. He showed us the quality.
Yeah, I think he's shown us beyond his kind of individual performances, he's shown adaptability. Do you know what I mean? We even put him into midfield and it didn't seem to faze him whatsoever. He seemed to just seamlessly go in. I remember sitting down watching the Lazio game where myself and Antonio were having a drink watching it on a stream, and we were shocked to see Danilo come into midfield, and it was just... it didn't bother him whatsoever. He put in a great performance. He wasn't shaky. He was no problems whatsoever.
He's a very intelligent footballer. let's not forget, if he played under Guardiola, he must have something. I disagree with the comment. I don't think he's a terrible right back. Actually, I think he's a very good right back. He lacked confidence in his first year, but this year he's been arguably one of their best performers and one of the most improved by far. Danilo's a ball-playing defender, much like Dani Alves was. Even playing on the right-hand side, he can come into the centre of the park and give you that extra man in the middle, and he's got great ability passing the ball. I personally like Cuadrado further up the pitch. I've said it all along. I think if you can put him in a 1v1 against anyone in the world, he'll destroy them. So you need to place... I think Cuadrado is a fantastic right back, but I think he's wasted. And I would definitely look to play Cuadrado further up the pitch and have Danilo behind him to give him that support and protection.
Yeah, we know Allegri's favoured Cuadrado as a right winger in the past.
He's getting on a bit as well, Colin. Let's not forget, he's maybe not got the legs to cover the full pitch. So he's 33 now. So it'd be good to have a defender behind him and allow him space and some freedom and not have to come running back all the time as well. Yeah.
Another point, we're kind of dealing with it. Legrottaglie, a former Juventus defender, today was quoted as saying that anything is possible, or he says in particular the Champions is possible with Allegri. I think I'd feel a lot more confident about our ability to, outfox another team in Europe over two legs, to have, a tactical strategy set up that is going to, and be able to interpret the game properly, no matter what's going on. I just feel like he thinks about the game in the right way, and he kind of looks at what's in front of him and then makes decisions. He's not like completely, devoted to whatever strategy that he has. I mean, we know he's a pragmatist. Myself and Paolo have been talking about this discussion for maybe a year at this stage, about the differences between idealist coaches and pragmatist coaches, and that's the benefit of having a pragmatist. He's just adaptable, and that's he's going to play what he sees, and. I think that's probably why he's got so deep and in the Champions League before with Juventus. And I think this is overall, when you look at it, I think this is a more talented squad, even without additions right now. I think it's a more talented squad than he had in the past. Obviously, if you go back as far as that great midfield four that we had between Marchisio, Pirlo, Vidal, and Pogba, that's a different level, But overall, I think this squad has got more talent. If he can make them work, if he can motivate them, then who knows?
Sorry, can I just touch on that?
Yeah.
Allegri's very clever to understand the players and characteristics and what they've got. Now, Sarri didn't understand it. He tried to change his football, and he couldn't do it with the material he had. Same with Pirlo. Pirlo obviously was different circumstances. COVID, couldn't have a pre-season, a new manager, quite naive, so to speak, as I say. So they were constantly trying to get this team to play a different brand of football. One thing Max Allegri did understand, and this is what he's clever at, one of his strengths, he understands the players' characteristics, and he adapts the system he plays suits the characteristics of his side. That already is obviously an improvement on what we've seen so far. You can't expect the likes of Bentancur, Rabiot, McKennie. All these players are very similar. They can't play Sarri ball. They can't play the football that Pirlo was trying to adopt. You need to be clever and just accept that these are the players you've got and you need to play in a certain system.
Yeah.
If I can add something, I believe the last year team, let's say, the Pirlo Juventus wasn't bad at all. Just maybe some players were not that good together and make the good chemistry in the field. So this is why what I said is, if you can get one or two players, can change completely, because sometimes with the right player can make all the rest of the team work way, way better. Yeah. So instead of perform one, you will have them perform 10, 11. And you will see really why Rabiot is so good in the nation, why other players shine when they're not playing with Juventus.
Yeah.
And Allegri is very good in that, in trying to understand the players, as you said, he has, and trying to get the best out of them. So I'm confident that at least on that. Then in Italy, actually, I believe we were already the best team since also last year. Then we were unlucky with Pirlo. It's not his fault. He wasn't just ready for that.
Yeah.
About Champions League, well, that's a long story because I will not underestimate what happened with the Super League and the consequence we will have with the Super League. So,
the Super League, Colin. Oh,
yeah.
we love
the Super
we love a
Lego.
Super League chat on here, don't we?
Oh, we do, and we've got beers in hand now as well. So, like anything could happen. So it's a dangerous subject. What was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, like I wanted to get on and talk. I wanted to talk about our left back situation. I wanted to talk about Alexandro. He's played a couple of games at the Copa America, 3, I think, and he scored 1 goal. And I mean, they're talking about him being the starting left back for the next couple of years, and potentially Luca Pellegrini coming in as his understudy. I mean, what do you think about that? I've got a couple of thoughts myself, but would you be happy with him?
I definitely, yes. I mean, I'm not the person or the supporter which is Alexandro hater or a person, a supporter that doesn't like Alessandro that much. And I think the problem with Alessandro is we remember the first Alessandro, which cared less about defense and was all about attacking. And it was great in that. It was super good attacking, nice dribbling, cross, also shooting goals, Over the years, he learned to defense, is more careful, and of course, the players is different now. So we have in mind what we would expect in him. So defend the way they defend today and attack the way he was supposed to do. I mean, was used to be when he arrived, basically. And that's the major criticism I see around. But I think he's a pretty solid defender. I think he can definitely be part of the squad next season and do a good job. I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Antonio?
Yeah, I agree with Paulo. When you look at Brazil, I've not been following the Copa America games, but I believe Alexandro and Danilo have been playing most games. So you've got both Juventus fullbacks are starting for the team who's the most successful national side in history. So they can't be that bad. To say Alexandro's got his negatives, but he's also got a lot of positives. He's got experience. Allegri has, now it's been reported Allegri wants players that are ready to win now. Alexandro's a winner. Okay, he's not overperformed the Blue Emir away in the last season, but last season you was well writing that off because of circumstances. To say so, I like Alexandro. I'm not his biggest fan, but certainly I'm not his biggest critic as well.
Yeah, I think go ahead, Paulo.
No, I want just to remind some Juventini supporters about, for example, Spinazzola. Spinazzola was an exactly good example. Very good when it was about to attack, but then when it was about defense, you will see the problems, and also was problem with injuries. So,
his injuries.
The times goes on, and you remember how great it was in the dribbling and attacking. You forget about all the weak points he had. He's always like that.
Yeah. On Alexandro as well, last year he was playing in a hybrid formation. With Pirlo's tactics, there was a lot of moving parts. I don't think the players understood fully what was expected of them. And Alexandro was one of the ones that suffered the most. Now, he didn't help himself because at the end of the day, he's a professional footballer at the highest level. He should be performing. That's just my honest opinion. But if he plays in a solid back four, like he does with Brazil, where he's getting picked week in, week out, if he plays in a back four with a solid system, he knows his duties, then he's a good player. He gives you I mean, he's a solid player. He's a performer. So it's just my honest opinion. I don't think he's the worst left back out there, and there's not going to be a lot of money this year. I've heard a lot of Gosens from Atalanta being mentioned. We've yet to see Gosens play in a four at the back with Atalanta and also Germany. He plays as a left wing back, so and he's going to cost a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, 35 to 40 million. Just on Sandro, for me, like, one, I think the guy's been overworked.
Absolutely,
he hasn't had a realistic kind of replacement for quite a while. You know, and hopefully Pellegrini could do a good job there. Verbata wasn't a realistic option this year, obviously, even though he started well. But look, what would I say about Alexandro? So, like, I was looking at his Brazil form, and we know, you know, when Sandro scores, like, he had one game this year where he scored twice, and you know, it tends to be like a flawless performance from him. He tends to be like he's gotten everything right. Like, that's when he scores, because he's got that kind of, he's streaky. Do you know what I mean? He can play like 3 or 4 games where he's average, and then he has a great game and he joins in the attack and he ends up getting an assist or a goal. So for me, looking at it just on paper, because I didn't watch the game, I'm thinking Sandro's on form. Do you know what I mean? Now the papers are saying unless Sandro asks to leave or an offer comes in, he's going to stay. So immediately I'm thinking, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think Allegri will change much, Colin. I really don't. There's so much talk of all these players getting mentioned. I think Locatelli's one of them. He'll definitely come in. And I think there may just be additions. So if we sell a player, there'll be a player brought into the... Obviously, Aaron Ramsey's reported that he's going to leave. So if one goes, one will come in, and I think that'll be it, as I say. So everything will depend on Ronaldo. If Ronaldo goes, I think there could be a big reshape in what happens. If he stays, then we may just stay how it may just remain how it is.
Yeah. Locatelli, you mentioned Locatelli there. I'm just going to get on to that. Locatelli, I mean, a lot of people are saying, because he's not playing a regista role for Italy, do we really expect him to play that role for Juventus? Now, we mentioned the 4-3-1 already. That doesn't have a regista in it, but
no.
What do you think? Can he play both?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Sorry, Paolo, you go. Sorry if you were add anything.
I mean, at Milan he was playing as a regista, but also Sassuolo sometimes as a regista, or as a in front of the defense, like you saw in the potential option for Allegri next season. He is a player that has scores.
Yeah.
Is able to shoot from outside the box.
Exactly.
Unbelievable. He is able to run in the area, like kind of like Marchisio was used to do, for example. Mm-hmm. He's a good defender. I mean, he's good to help in defense and cover holes, you know, and also good on build the action from the back and start playing the ball from the back. So it's really an interesting option. It's really an interesting option. And as I said, this could be a kind of player that itself is not like Pogba level, but the way he plays is going to help the others around. They will perform better.
Yeah.
See, just on what Paolo says about Pogba, all the Juventini are all obviously going on about Pogba. They want him back. He's magnificent. Last night I watched the game. He played some phenomenal passes. But let's not forget, Locatelli plays those passes as well. Can you remember his pass out wide to Berardi against Switzerland? That's a pass that we don't see any of our current midfielders do. As I say, Locatelli, as Paolo touched on, he gives you so many aspects. He can be a regista, he can be a mediano tutto-campo, he can arrive in the box, he can score goals, he can start moves, he can tackle. He's got a bit of everything. So he can play in a 2-man midfield. He can play as a mediano, a mezzala. Locatelli gives you a lot. You can see why we're so keen to bring him in, because he can address so many roles, as I say. And I don't think necessarily we need Pogba. I think Locatelli can do just as much as Pogba can. and he's Italian as well. So,
and also he like Allegri gave him his start with Milan, so I believe he was he encouraged him very much at Milan. So, you know, he obviously likes him. You know, now Pogba's been mentioned as well. So papers today are talking Pogba, Milinkovic, Savic. They could be one or the other could also be targeted by Juventus to bring in. What do you think? You think hot air, or you think it's legit?
I don't think we need them. As I say, I know it's unpopular opinion because he's a phenomenal player, and personally, I'm not too sure about Milinkovic Savic. I think he can be hot and cold. He can be quite temperamental as well. I think with Locatelli coming in, with the midfield we've got just now with Allegri, I think that could be enough. I don't think we need major additions. As I say, if Pogba comes in, albeit if Ronaldo goes to Manchester United, it's the only way that happens. Because the money would be too much in a post-COVID mercado, as I say. So if Ronaldo decides to go to Manchester United, then there could be a possibility Pogba comes. But let's not forget, he gets a hell of a wage as well. So we might not be prepared to pay the money, as I say. But me personally, I don't think we need Pogba or Savic.
Stephen is saying Locatelli gives you so many options. It's going to be exciting to see where he fits in the team. And Akis comes in and he says he believes Locatelli alone won't be enough. One more midfielder is needed. I kind of agree with him. I think one more is needed. I'm not sure who.
It's a good starting point, you know.
It's a good, It's a good starting
You have to start from there, somewhere, you know.
Don't write off Arthur. Don't write him off. This will be a big season for Arthur. He's got a lot to prove. He'll have a pre-season behind him. He'll have a manager with loads of experience that will know where to play him in positionally. I mean, he was brought in for €75 million. Never mind the Pjanic thing, because I know obviously there was almost like a swap. €75 million was a hell of an investment. So he will be like a new addition as well. So a lot of people are writing him off. I wouldn't be so hasty to write him off, to be honest with you.
I'm not going to write him off. I don't think a regista role is suited for him.
No.
I think a Mezzala or potentially a number 8, if you know what I mean. More kind of forward leaning than the other Mezzala. So I think that's his best role because he's kind of looking straight into the attacking phase of the play. Like we've seen problems this year. Everybody's been saying it. Like all the papers, everybody was, saying it takes him too long to get turned. You know, he seems to twist and turn. He holds onto the ball very, very well. Yeah. But it takes him a little bit too long to move the ball on. And that's not what we're looking for.
Does he remind you of anyone, Colin?
Does he remind me of anyone? He reminds me of a few people, but
he reminds me of Marco Verratti. Marco Verratti is very people criticise him because he holds on to the ball way too long. They're very similar. They're the same size. They play in the same position. They both defend the ball incredibly well, but obviously they hold the ball a bit too much. I think Verratti where he plays with the Italian team, he plays quite high up the pitch, and he's got that extra pass. He's got that bit of fantasy. I agree with you. I would like to see Arthur used as a Mezzala or further up the pitch.
Yeah.
Arthur can be interesting with Allegri. First of all, we need to understand if he's able to recover finally for the injury, or is going to be still, 50%, 60%, 70%. I was expecting him to go surgery to solve completely the problem, which will take a couple of months to recover, but then you're done, Operation done, you're done.
Yeah.
If I think about at least the past Allegri's midfields in Juventus, my problem with Arthur's maybe the size of the players is not as strong as I can, Matuidi was strong, Pogba, of course, was strong, Emre Can was another one that Allegri wants and love was very strong. So he kind of likes, Allegri likes a midfield really predominant, with the body strength. So I'm not sure if for this point of view, Arthurs will completely fit. Definitely about technique, he's probably, no, don't say probably, he's the best midfielder we have, definitely.
Yeah, fact. Yeah.
There is no doubt about it. So
Yeah.
I hope Allegri finds a way to also, again, have him in the pitch. But still, you have to 11. You cannot play with more than that.
Yeah.
So it's always that problem.
Yeah.
So it's going to be curious. I'm really excited about that.
I just don't think there's room for another midfielder because realistically, who do you sell? Unless a massive offer comes in for the likes of Rabiot or Artur or McKennie, because obviously that could happen. I don't see room for another midfielder. Obviously, Allegri's a big fan of Fagioli. He's mentioned it before when he was at Juventus about Fagioli, how fantastic it was to watch him train. I think Artur as well, as I touched on, he's young. He's missed out in the Brazil squad for obvious reasons, injuries, he's not performed. So you'll have that hunger and eager to show the new manager what he can do, as I say. But Locatelli came in for Ramsey. I think that's more than enough. I really do.
It's all about the way we will play next season.
Yeah, of course,
because
exactly.
If you play with 3,
system
is a story. If you play with 2, of course, we have maybe too many even. Because what happened about Kulusevski? There are rumors about Kulusevski being moved in the midfield too, as an option. Yeah. I don't know. It's tough right now. Until I don't see a game, I will never really have an idea about it.
Exactly.
But I agree that maybe we will see some changes. Yes, we don't get. We will not hire 2 or 3 midfielders because we don't have the space. I mean, we are too
There's no
many.
space.
The thing is, there's talk of Rovella coming in as well and doing a pre-season. So where are we going to put all these midfielders? So it's a numbers game. You can't have all these midfielders and then be looking to bring in Milinkovic, Savic, Pogba, all these players, Saul, Niguez. I mean, we've already got a lot in midfield as it is. Ramsey's going to go. I mean, I believe the guy's away already. As I say,
God.
so Locatelli would replace Ramsey.
Exactly.
Rovella's coming in, and Fagioli, I think he'll get more minutes. So you've got 6 or 7 quality midfielders. As Paolo says, it'll be down to system.
Yeah. Remember, also Danilo can do the
of course. So
you have so many that can do that throw.
Allegri's also used Cuadrado in that position before. He's used him as a mezzala. Kulusevski can use that. So I don't see the need to bring in another player in midfield. Locatelli, absolutely,
yeah. I'm in 2 minds. I'm kind of going to go back to the 4-2-3-1 we talked about at the start of the show. When I look at the squad, if I was trying to put myself in Allegri's shoes, which is very hard, but if he's looking at the players we've got, they're all basically mezzala. They're all midfielders. They're all, they all have this similar characteristics. So it would make sense that you would just have 2, rather than try and put in an extra position and not have a player who's experienced enough or good enough to do it. But then we look at the fact that we have potentially 3 or 4 strong midfielders, and you want to try and get as many of those guys on the pitch at the same time. So on that side of my brain, I'm thinking maybe it's best to have a 3. But
there's a lot of games. There's a lot of games, Colin. Juventus play 60+ games a season, so there's going to be time and space and minutes for everyone. As I say, so that's why I think Rovella and Fagioli, I don't think 2 of them will be there. I think only one of them will be there. I think it'll be Fagioli. I think Allegri will give him time. Allegri will be brave as well. He's not a manager that looks anyone in the face. As I say, he'll play. Fagioli will get loads of minutes. Rovella might be the one that may do the pre-season, but I don't think he'll stay.
Yeah.
Another thing, consider that maybe Allegri will start with something like we finished last season with Pirlo, the same kind of position, even if the players will play in a different way. Just because he doesn't like to change completely, but just go step by step to the way, to what he thinks is going to be the best option for the players he has.
Yeah, absolutely. He's intelligent, as I say. He's very intelligent. When he came in after Conte, he basically the team still played in Conte's style, and slowly, surely, he would make slight changes, and then obviously he moulded his own side. But yeah, as Paolo says, I don't think he'll change the way they train. They might not change the dynamics of how they play on the pitch, but certainly there won't be this hybrid system where it's a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, and then it's 5 in the back defending. The players are thinking all the time where they need to be. Paolo brought up a good point, actually, and I was going to touch on it. I've been watching the Euros, and you see the likes of Rabiot. Well, Kulusevski had COVID. All the Italian guys. Bernardeschi mentioned it as well, how Mancini plays everyone in the right position. Rabiot plays in a team, obviously never started the last game, but you can argue he's a starter in the World Champions. Danilo and Alexandro playing with Brazil. Cuadrado's playing with Colombia. All our players play with the national team, and they're very important parts of that side. Probably because they're getting played in the right position. Something that Pirlo very rarely done this season. He tinkered way too much.
You forgot Cristiano Ronaldo, by the way.
Ronaldo. How could I forget? Yeah, Ronaldo plays in his number 9. Obviously, he's 36. He's in his twilight years now. You can see him playing as a number 9. Where he chooses to play that position or not is up to him. But what I'm trying to say, all these players, when they're playing with their respective national teams, all play in their right position, and the results are different. With Pirlo, I mean, he tried Bernardeschi in every single bloody position on the pitch. So in the last couple of games, Pirlo simplified it, and he stopped being so naive, and he played all his players in the right position. The results were different. Dybala was playing closer to goal. The results were different. So Allegri, he'll play all the guys in the right position, and that's a massive improvement already.
That's the crux of it, really. Like Antonio, you made the point that I was about to make. About Allegri and how he doesn't want to sacrifice results for a style of play.
No.
And when you go in to manage a team and you look, okay, these guys, they're all experienced players. What have they been playing for the last while? They've won 3 Scudetti in a row, and I'm not going to change anything crazy because they're not going to like it, because they're a successful side. So he brings things in gradually and slowly, and then just gives an extra dimension to the team when the time is right, but not straight away, and. Like going back to a conversation myself and Paolo had at the start of the year, and we were discussing, this is before the start of the season, we were talking about, how's Pirlo going to be, and we just came to the realization that it's like he's an idealist. He's gonna try and put his ideas in regardless of whether the players are suited to the system, and they're just going to have to adjust. And I think we both said at the time that okay, this could go bad. This could go very bad, and it did. And we like, I tried to be optimistic as much as I could all season, and but no, it wasn't a good conversation. But look, I mean, I want to talk a little bit about Italy as well. One of the questions I have about Italy is, I mean, obviously they've done extremely well. It's a delight to watch them. The whole world is talking about Italy at the moment, which is, it's great, considering where the national team has come from in the past. I'm thinking about Juventus. I want to see Chiesa doing well. Do you guys think Chiesa has a chance to get in front of Berardi, or what do you think?
Well, in Italy's squad, I have the feeling that Chiesa is an option in the left rather than the right. So it's going to be Chiesa and Insigne eventually the swap. So that's the main problem. That's the main problem. People are looking for me. Also now.
busy man, Paolo. Busy man.
Tell him
but
tell him that the science will get done when it gets done, and that's it.
Yeah, but that's okay. They can wait. I'll call tomorrow. Shoot me an email. They should know. But anyway, yeah. I mean, Chiesa, I believe, knows what he can give to Italy in terms of run, score, chances, quality of playing. And I don't think that Mancini is so stupid and don't realize as good as Chiesa. But he has good options. I mean, the problem of Italy is eventually not there. So Chiesa, Berardi, Insigne, they are both pretty good options. Of course, depend also how it's going to be, how the way the opponent team is going to play. So sometimes Chiesa, which is more vertical, is better in some option than Insigne. This is more like a number 10 and trequartista that likes to play a little bit and see the where is the hole to kick the ball and get someone ready to score or be dangerous at least. So it's a good option anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see him do well, but at the same time, I have half a mind to think, oh, well, at least if he doesn't play, he won't get injured, and then he'll be fine, Like, I like watching Italy and I wish them well when Ireland aren't in the championship or anything like that, but my number one priority is get them all home safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, one last thing I wanted to touch on was the great Zinedine Zidane's birthday was yesterday. I just wanted to share a memory. I know Antonio was a huge fan of Zidane as well in his day. We're from the same generation, and Paolo obviously saw him start to finish with Juventus as well. I mean, Paolo, what did you think of Zidane when he came to Juventus, and when did anything change for you when he left?
I mean, it's a long story.
It's a long story.
Let's try to make it as short as possible. So when he came, we had the feeling there was a good player. We didn't know how good it could be. Let's be honest. But we know it was okay. This is a potential great player. But then it was even bigger. I believe it was bigger than any Juventino could think at that time. I still remember the goal against. I don't remember Reggiana.
Yes,
there was the. I think this is the best picture I have in my mind about Zidane at Juventus.
From the throw-in. He came from a throw-in.
Yeah,
he just plays a 1-2 and then goes
and makes something unbelievable because it was a pleasure really to see him play. I mean, you can see the way he touched the ball. It's always different, If you have the same pitch, for example, I'm sorry about that, Sturaro and Zidane, the way both touch the ball, you can feel it. The difference. The smoothness. It's a different music. It's like it's too long to say. It's like feelings. It's like feelings. So. Of course, when Danny left was a big punch, right, for all of us because we are talking about something big, But then I remember at the time there was the story, the wife wants to leave, he doesn't want to stay anymore. So you feel like, okay. I mean, at least I'm a Juventino, so I only think Juventus is bigger than any player. I was lucky to see. Barely remember Platini, so and of course Del Piero. So good players. I was lucky to see some kind of good players in Juventus. So Jugovic also was another nice player. Unfortunately, didn't last that long in Juventus, but this was a pity. I don't know why Moggi did that, but then Moji was so nice to bring some nice options. Then you will say, oh, it hurts, but okay. Net. Oh, okay. Good players back. So you kind of feel not as bad as, like an Inter that losing Hakimi and taking, I don't know, someone,
Another Ashley Young. Yeah.
Sorry, it's funny, Zidane. Being in the UK, obviously, I've seen some fantastic footballers. I'm old enough to remember that I've seen the Manchester United, the Champions League side. I watched them live many a times. There's two players that I will always remember, and even I've been so lucky to see them play more than one occasion live. Yeah. Zidane and Messi. When you see them play live in the flesh, as Paolo said, there's something about them. The way they touch the ball, the way they move on the pitch, the way other players, where you don't see in the TV when you're watching it at home, you don't get the full advantage and pleasure that you would when you see them live. You see the team constantly watching where he is. And Zidane was one of those players. Just the way he went about a football pitch, everything was going 100 miles an hour. When Zidane touched the ball, everything just slowed down. And he played at his tempo, and he was just fantastic. I've seen him live 3 times. And each time I seen him when Real Madrid beat Bayer Leverkusen at Hampden. I was there live when he scored that phenomenal goal with his left foot.
Wow.
And when the ball hit the net, the place just... the world stopped. I mean, it was just... I can't explain it. It's just one of those things you can't explain. And he's just a phenomenon. That's what he was.
For me, just to explain to anyone who might be listening or watching, who's of a younger generation, when we look at players like Ronaldo and Messi, I'm not going to compare them to the likes of Zidane or maybe phenomenal Ronaldo, but in terms of the stars of the 90s and the late 90s in particular, there was no one greater than Zinedine Zidane. There was no one greater than Ronaldo. Phenomenal. They were they were the best players in the world for 5-6 years running. There was no stopping Zidane. I like yourself. I haven't, like yourself. I can consider myself lucky to have seen him, to have grown up in that kind of generation. I wish I'd seen him live. I'd never seen him live, but you know Baggio, for example, which is another decent player. That kind of level. Which I know you have kind of a story. So the Baggios with Juventus, right? So
Colin, can you remember? Sorry, the Real Madrid game when Ronaldo scored the hat trick, the Brazilian Ronaldo against Manchester United.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was at that game with my dad, and that was the best performance I've seen by a football player in my entire life. Not because of the goals he scored, just because of what he'd done on the ball. And Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, was on that day. You're thinking, that's it. You don't need to see another game for the rest of your life, because nothing can compare to what you've just seen. Ronaldo had it. Zidane had it. Messi, I've seen Messi play. He's the same kind of. He's got the same. I've seen Ronaldo, the Portuguese Ronaldo, and he's not. I know it sounds crazy because of the numbers and what he does, but it doesn't quite do it for me as a live performance.
Yeah,
there's been other better players, and he's not. I don't think he's in the same category.
I agree with you. Like, I mean, sorry to cut across, but I agree. I mean, you mentioned the word performance. Like, watching someone like Zidane, that was like a ballet performance. That was like going to the opera. That was incredible. It was like a game within a game to watch what he was going to do.
Exactly.
How his teammates were going to interpret what he was doing, because his brain was 10 times faster than anyone else on the field. That's why he was in he looked like he wasn't even human. Like, he was like an alien. But and I don't know, a lot of Juventus fans are sore after he left, but we have to remember, like, he won a Ballon d'Or while he was with Juventus. He was absolutely unstoppable for that year that he won that Ballon d'Or and then won a World Cup as a result of that form, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's always, I have to say, it was extremely emotional for me when he left. I was devastated. He was my favorite player, you know, and I couldn't imagine him going to a different club. I was angry, I was sad, I was all of this, but you know, afterwards I have to say I'm still lucky to have seen it. You know, I mean, imagine if you hadn't.
Yeah, I mean, you had Zidane, Figo played in that team, Roberto Carlos, Raul. I mean, to see these players live, I'm very fortunate, and I count myself lucky because a lot of people haven't seen these guys play live, and it's one thing seeing them on a TV screen. It's another thing seeing them on their own stage in real life, and they're performers. That's what they are. They're paid to perform and entertain, and that's why Zidane, Brazilian Ronaldo, Messi, they're up there with the best. I don't think you'll ever see players of that category in my lifetime.
No, I don't think so. What do you think, Paolo? If you were to think, you know, the best Juventus player you've ever seen, or maybe the player that you loved the most, you know, if you were to be a fanboy, who would it have been for?
Okay. All right. So, in terms of quality of player, we had so many. I was lucky to see a little bit in TV of Platini, which unfortunately, today guy like you, Colin, probably you never saw him, right?
No.
He was to that level, you know, level also of close to Zidane, the way he played.
Yeah.
My only one, by the way, my only one player that was really a fanboy, let's say, even if I never get postered in my home, stuff like that, because I'm not the kind of person to like idols, you know.
Yeah.
The only captain, Shirea, was the only one that's for me was the picture of Juventus, and I grow with it. And that's nothing better, nothing close to him ever.
Yeah.
Interesting. What about you, Antonio? If you were to call yourself, because I know a lot of people talk about, you know, being a Juventus fan, and you know, maybe sometimes people don't like players who are fans who prefer a player over a team, you know, and even Agnelli has said that, you know, fans have kind of gone in that direction these days. But like, I always kind of like to think back of, you know, when I was a teenager. Do you know what I mean? When I was playing football myself, and when I looked at TV, and you know, who, you know, when I was watching Zidane, I was trying to do the Marseille roulette on the football pitch afterwards, like, you know, very unsuccessfully. But you know, so I think a lot of it is down to age, and it's okay. So
for me, we spoke about him enough. Zidane, although Del Piero was obviously one of my all-time favourites, but if you're asking me, if you put me on the spot, it would be Zinedine Zidane, without a doubt.
I knew the answer to that question. Ivan is coming in. He says Del Piero for me. Yeah. Surprised nobody said
it's a matter of age, you know. I'm older.
That's the thing. Obviously, sentimental. If you're asking a different question, obviously Del Piero is my favourite player of all time because of the attachment to the club. What he done, we could be here all night speaking about what he done for the club. But in terms of brilliance, as being entertained, being in awe, just an absolute a privilege to watch with Zidane. And as I say, and I've seen him, as I've touched on, I've seen him live. Nothing will ever compare to what that guy can do with a ball. I mean, I can remember watching him warm up, and Edgar Davids and Zidane were passing the ball to one another, just kind of long passing. The ball never touched the ground once. And it just looked so effortless, and it's just it's as if, as you say, Colin, as if you're watching the Zidane show. Nothing else round about him exists. You don't even notice any of the players, and they're big names, to say, but you're just fixated on him, and that's a special player. As I say, there's very few players that can attract that attention. Yeah,
I mean, just to quickly kind of add something on in general, people think, was he better with Real Madrid or with Juventus? One thing I would say is, as an athlete, I think he was better with Juventus. I thought he became a higher level athlete when he moved to Juventus. When he came in, he got like specific training, and I believe that particular physical trainer is still working with him to this day. With Real Madrid.
That Real Madrid wasn't a nice team.
It was a nice team.
Pretty good team. So it's easier when the good players play together. They speak the same language.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ivan is saying he's talking about Del Piero. He's the reason he started following Juventus and Italy soon after. It's been almost 30 years since. Yeah, I agree. Well, guys, that's about it for today. I want to thank Antonio and Paolo for turning up. And, if you enjoyed the show, give it a like, give it a comment, share it. And I hope to have these two great friends back soon. And, ciao ragazzi.
Ciao ragazzi.
Best of luck.